More than 2,500 years ago, in the tumultuous period of ancient China's Warring States era, a strategist emerged whose wisdom would transcend time. His name was Sun Tzu, and his treatise, The Art of War, remains one of the most influential works on strategy ever written. Yet, despite its enormous impact, Sun Tzu himself remains an enigmatic figure. Was he a real historical general, or was he a composite of several great minds of his time? Was the art of war penned by one man, or was it a collection of accumulated military wisdom passed down through generations? The mystery surrounding Sun Tzu's identity only adds to the allure of his work. Historical records, particularly the records of the Grand Historian by Sima Qian, suggest that Sun Tzu was a general serving under King Helu of Wu during the late 6th century BC. According to legend, he demonstrated his strategic brilliance by training the king's concubines as soldiers, proving that discipline and leadership could transform even the most untrained forces into a formidable army. While some scholars debate the authenticity of these accounts, there is no question that the art of war is a masterpiece of military thought. But why does this ancient text, written for the battlefield, continue to captivate the modern world? How has it survived and influenced not just warfare but politics, business, and leadership for millennia? This documentary seeks to unravel the secrets of the art of war, exploring its origins, evolution, and lasting significance. In an era defined by rapid change, competition, and conflict, whether in geopolitics, corporate boardrooms, or personal ambitions, the art of war serves as a timeless guide to strategic thinking. Unlike conventional military manuals, Sun Tzu's treatise is not simply about war in a literal sense. It is about understanding human nature, leveraging strengths, and exploiting weaknesses. The principles outlined in the text, such as deception, adaptability, and indirect confrontation, are as applicable in the 21st century as they were in ancient China. World leaders, business executives, military commanders, and even sports coaches have turned to the art of war for guidance. Its maxims, such as know your enemy and know yourself, and you will not be imperiled in 100 battles, have become axioms for strategic success. The book's focus on intelligence, preparation, and strategic maneuvering allows its teachings to extend beyond the battlefield into modern-day negotiations, crisis management, and competition. In the corporate world, CEOs and entrepreneurs utilize Sun Tzu's principles to outmaneuver rivals, maintain control over market dynamics, and achieve long-term success. Companies like Apple, Amazon, and Tesla have built strategies that reflect Sun Tzu's ideas, anticipating market shifts, outpacing competitors, and remaining unpredictable. Politically, the art of war has influenced leaders from Napoleon to Mao Zedong, shaping their approaches to diplomacy, governance, and even propaganda. In warfare, generals from Douglas MacArthur to Norman Schwarzkopf have drawn inspiration from Sun Tzu's teachings to conduct military campaigns. Even in popular culture, from Hollywood films to professional sports, the wisdom of the art of war resonates through countless interpretations and applications. Why has this book endured for so long? The answer lies in its universal truths. Sun Tzu understood the psychological and philosophical aspects of conflict, how fear, deception, patience, and intelligence can dictate the outcome of any struggle. His teachings are not rigid doctrines, but adaptable principles, making the art of war an ever-relevant manual for those seeking to master strategy in any field. From ancient China to the modern world, the art of war has shaped the course of history in ways both visible and hidden. In military history, its influence can be seen in the strategies of commanders who prioritized maneuverability, intelligence gathering, and psychological warfare over brute force. The Mongols, under Genghis Khan, demonstrated an understanding of Sun Tzu's principles, using speed, deception, and adaptability to conquer vast territories. During the Napoleonic Wars, Napoleon Bonaparte, one of history's greatest military minds, employed tactics that mirrored Sun Tzu's approach, such as exploiting the weaknesses of his enemies and striking at the right moment. In the 20th century, Leaders like Mao Zedong explicitly credited the art of war as foundational to their revolutionary warfare strategies. Mao's guerrilla warfare tactics, which ultimately led to the communist victory in China, were deeply rooted in Sun Tzu's ideas of avoiding direct confrontation and striking where the enemy is weakest. In modern warfare, the art of war has been studied in military academies worldwide, influencing doctrines from the United States Army to Russian and Chinese strategic planning. The principles of deception, surprise, and psychological warfare have been utilized in conflicts ranging from World War II to the Gulf War. Beyond warfare, the text has left an indelible mark on leadership and management. Political leaders have used Sun Tzu's teachings to navigate complex diplomatic landscapes, negotiate treaties, and maintain power. Business executives have adapted his ideas to corporate competition, emphasizing strategic positioning, adaptability, and the importance of information superiority. In the digital age, the art of war has taken on new dimensions. Cybersecurity experts, for example, apply Sun Tzu's principles to information warfare, using deception, defense strategies, and intelligence operations to protect data from cyber threats. Even in social movements and activism, strategists utilize Sun Tzu's insights to mobilize supporters, counter opposition, and achieve social change. To understand Sun Tzu and his magnum opus, The Art of War, it is essential to explore the historical context in which he lived. Sun Tzu is believed to have lived during the late spring and autumn period, approximately 6th to 5th century BCE, or the early Warring States period, 5th to 3rd century BC. This era was one of immense political fragmentation and near-constant military conflict, as various states vied for dominance over China. The Zhou dynasty, 1046 to 256 BCE, which had once unified China under a feudal system, was in decline. Central authority weakened, and regional lords, initially vassals of the Zhou king, became de facto independent rulers. As these rulers sought to expand their territories, warfare became the primary means of resolving disputes. This prolonged period of strife, known as the Warring States period 475 to 221 BCE, saw the rise of powerful states such as Qin, Chu, Zhao, Wei, Han, Qi, and Yin, each striving to outmaneuver its rivals. The political instability of this time led to the development of new military strategies, innovations in weaponry, and a growing emphasis on intelligence and deception in warfare. The nature of war evolved from small feudal skirmishes to large-scale, professionalized armies engaging in prolonged conflicts. It was in this environment that the art of war was written, providing a sophisticated understanding of warfare that extended beyond brute force to include diplomacy, psychology, and strategic deception. As warfare became more complex, rulers sought the counsel of military strategists, philosophers, and political theorists. This period saw the emergence of various schools of thought, including Confucianism, Taoism, legalism, and Moism. While Confucianism emphasized morality and virtuous governance, legalism advocated for strict laws and centralized control, and Moism promoted defensive warfare and fortifications. Within this intellectual landscape, a new breed of military thinkers emerged. Sun Tzu was one of many strategists who contributed to the growing body of military knowledge. Other notable military theorists, such as Wu Qi and Sun Bin, also wrote treatises on warfare, reflecting the increasing importance of strategic thought in military campaigns. Sun Tzu's The Art of War distinguished itself by advocating psychological and strategic approaches over sheer force. It emphasized the importance of knowing both oneself and the enemy, deception in battle, and the avoidance of prolonged conflicts that drained resources. These principles resonated deeply with rulers seeking to outmaneuver their opponents without engaging in costly wars of attrition. The historical existence of Sun Tzu remains a topic of debate among scholars. Some believe he was a real figure, while others argue that the art of war is a compilation of military wisdom from multiple authors over time. The primary source of information on Sun Tzu comes from records of the grand historian Shurji, by Sima Qian, 145 to 86 BC, a historian of the Han Dynasty. According to Sima Qian, Sun Tzu was a general who served King Helu of the state of Wu in the late 6th century BCE. However, there are few contemporaneous records that confirm his existence, leading some historians to speculate that Sun Tzu may be a legendary figure or a pseudonym representing a collective school of military thought. The ambiguity surrounding Sun Tzu's identity has led to various theories. Some scholars argue that the art of war may have been written or compiled by later military strategists, possibly during the Warring States period or even the early Han Dynasty. Others suggest that Sun Tzu was a real person, but that his teachings were later expanded and modified by subsequent generations. Regardless of whether Sun Tzu was an individual or a symbolic figure, his influence on military strategy remains undeniable. The art of war has been attributed to him for over 2 millennia, shaping the military doctrines of countless civilizations. According to traditional accounts, Sun Tzu was born in the state of Qi, but later served as a general for King Helu of Wu. His strategic acumen allegedly helped Wu achieve significant military victories, including campaigns against the powerful state of Chu. One of the most famous anecdotes about Sun Tzu involves his demonstration of military discipline using the king's concubines. When King Helu challenged Sun Tzu to prove his methods, he was given a group of palace women to train as soldiers. When they failed to follow orders, Sun Tzu executed 2 of the king's favorite concubines to enforce discipline. This act, though brutal, demonstrated Sun Tzu's belief that strict leadership and discipline were essential for effective military command. Whether this story is factual or a later embellishment, it reflects the principles espoused in the art of war: clear authority, discipline, and the willingness to make difficult decisions for the sake of strategic success. The exact authorship of the art of war remains uncertain. Some historians propose that Sun Bin, a military strategist from the Warring States period and a possible descendant of Sun Tzu, may have contributed to or refined the text. Linguistic analysis suggests that the art of war was written during the Warring States period rather than the earlier spring and autumn period. This discrepancy raises the possibility that the book was compiled by multiple authors who built upon earlier military doctrines. Regardless of its precise origins, the art of war became one of the foundational texts of Chinese military philosophy. During the Warring States period, China was a fragmented land of competing states, each striving for dominance and territorial expansion. This turbulent era saw the rise of several powerful states, each developing its own military strengths and strategic approaches. The state of Qin, known for its highly militarized society, would eventually unify China under Emperor Qin Shi Huang in 221 BCE. Chu, a vast and culturally distinct state, was recognized for its formidable military traditions and independent strategies. Zhao, another significant power, became famous for its advanced cavalry and innovative battle tactics. Meanwhile, Wei was among the first states to professionalize its military forces, focusing on strategic fortifications and organized warfare. The coastal state of Qi leveraged its economic and military resources to maintain power, while smaller states like Yin and Han often formed alliances with larger powers in a bid for survival. The constant shifting of alliances and the relentless warfare among these states led to an era of unprecedented military innovation, with generals and strategists constantly refining their approaches to gain the upper hand. The relentless conflicts of this period spurred remarkable advancements in military technology, weapons, and tactics. The transition from bronze to iron weaponry significantly enhanced the lethality of armies, with swords, spears, and crossbows becoming standard tools of war. Chariots, once a dominant force on the battlefield, gradually gave way to cavalry, a transformation influenced by interactions with northern nomadic tribes. The mobility and striking power of cavalry units revolutionized warfare, making rapid attacks and flanking maneuvers far more effective. In response to these evolving tactics, states invested heavily in fortifications, constructing massive defensive structures that laid the groundwork for what would eventually become the Great Wall of China. Beyond physical weaponry and defenses, the organization of armies also saw a major transformation. Military forces grew larger and more professionalized, with hierarchical command structures and sophisticated logistical support systems, ensuring greater efficiency in battle. However, the most crucial evolution came in the realm of strategy. Psychological warfare and deception became integral to military success, as outlined in Sun Tzu's The Art of War. Tactics such as feigned retreats, misinformation, and surprise attacks became essential tools for commanders seeking to outmaneuver their adversaries. As a result, warfare in ancient China became as much about intelligence and strategy as it was about brute strength, setting the stage for the refined military doctrines that would influence future generations. Sun Tzu's The Art of War was born out of an era where survival depended on strategic brilliance. Whether he was a historical general or a legendary figure, his teachings reflect the complexities of warfare in ancient China. The principles he outlined, intelligence, deception, adaptability, and leadership, transcended the battlefield and continue to shape military, political, and business strategies today. Understanding the historical backdrop of the art of war deepens our appreciation of its wisdom and enduring relevance. In an age of shifting power dynamics, Sun Tzu's insights remain as valuable now as they were over 2 millennia ago. The Art of War is one of the most influential military treatises in history, attributed to Sun Tzu, a legendary Chinese strategist and philosopher. Written over 2,500 years ago, it remains a foundational text on warfare, strategy, and leadership. While originally conceived as a guide for military commanders, its principles have transcended the battlefield, influencing business, politics, sports, and even daily life. The book consists of 13 concise yet profound chapters, each focusing on a different aspect of warfare and strategy. Unlike a rigid manual of battlefield tactics, The Art of War presents a flexible, philosophical approach to conflict, emphasizing intelligence, preparation, and psychological mastery. The structure of the book covers a wide range of topics, from strategic planning, deception, and adaptability to leadership and the economic aspects of warfare. Each chapter serves as a guide on how to assess terrain, understand the strengths and weaknesses of both one's own forces and those of the enemy, and leverage circumstances to secure victory with minimal effort. What makes The Art of War unique is its synthesis of military tactics with philosophical principles and leadership guidance. It does not simply advocate for brute force, but stresses intelligence, deception, and adaptability. Sun Tzu's teachings can be applied beyond war, making his work timeless and universally relevant. One of the central tenets of The Art of War is that victory is achieved not through sheer power, but through superior strategy. Sun Tzu argues that battles should be won before they are fought, through careful planning, deception, and outmaneuvering the opponent. Rather than engaging in prolonged, costly conflicts, he emphasizes maneuvering in a way that weakens the enemy without direct confrontation. This principle has influenced generations of military leaders, including Mao Zedong, Napoleon Bonaparte, and modern corporate strategists who apply it to competitive business environments. Deception is a cornerstone of Sun Tzu's philosophy. He teaches that misguiding the enemy, creating false appearances, and manipulating perceptions are key to gaining an advantage. Examples of deception include feigning weakness to lure an enemy into a trap or creating diversions to conceal one's true intent. Psychological warfare is equally important. Instilling doubt and fear in the opponent can often lead to their downfall without direct confrontation. This theme has resonated through history, from military campaigns where misinformation changed the course of battles, to modern politics and negotiations where perception often outweighs reality. Another key lesson in The Art of War is the importance of adaptability. Sun Tzu emphasizes that no plan survives first contact with the enemy and warns against rigidity, advocating for constant adaptation based on changing circumstances. He compares an effective strategist to water, which takes the shape of whatever container it is in. The ability to adjust tactics in real time is often the deciding factor between victory and defeat. Successful leaders, whether in war or business, must remain fluid, responding to new challenges with agility. One of the most revolutionary ideas in the art of war is that true victory does not come from fighting, but from avoiding conflict altogether by rendering the enemy powerless. Sun Tzu teaches that the greatest generals win wars by maneuvering so skillfully that battle becomes unnecessary. This concept has profound applications beyond the battlefield. In diplomacy, negotiation, and business, the ability to neutralize threats without confrontation is often the mark of true mastery. Political leaders and corporate executives alike have drawn from Sun Tzu's wisdom, seeking to outmaneuver rivals without resorting to open conflict. The Art of War is much more than a military manual. It is a treatise on strategy, adaptability, and intelligence. Its teachings on deception, psychological warfare, and leadership have influenced thinkers for centuries and continue to shape modern strategy in various fields. Through its 13 chapters, Sun Tzu provides a blueprint for success that emphasizes the power of knowledge, the importance of flexibility, and the art of overcoming obstacles without direct confrontation. His ideas remain as relevant today as they were in ancient China, proving that true mastery lies not in force, but in wisdom. Sun Tzu's The Art of War is not merely a guide to battlefield tactics, but a profound philosophical treatise on the nature of conflict, leadership, and strategy. One of his most famous maxims, "All warfare is based on deception," underscores the importance of misleading opponents to gain an advantage. Throughout history, strategic deception has played a crucial role in military victories. In World War II, for example, the Allies used elaborate deception plans, such as Operation Fortitude, to mislead the Germans about the location of the D-Day invasion. In modern contexts, businesses employ deceptive marketing strategies to outmaneuver competitors, and political campaigns use misinformation to gain public support. Deception remains a critical tool in warfare, diplomacy, and another fundamental teaching of Sun Tzu is the importance of knowledge in warfare, encapsulated in the phrase, "Know your enemy and know yourself, and you will not fear 100 battles." This principle emphasizes intelligence, gathering, and self-awareness. A commander who understands both his own strengths and weaknesses, as well as those of his opponent, can formulate effective strategies that maximize advantages while mitigating vulnerabilities. This concept extends beyond the battlefield into corporate strategy, sports, and even personal development, where understanding one's competition or challenges allows for more informed and strategic decision-making. Sun Tzu also argues that the highest form of warfare is winning without direct confrontation. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting, he states, advocating for the use of diplomatic, economic, and psychological means to neutralize threats. In global politics, nations often employ sanctions, alliances, and economic influence to weaken adversaries without resorting to armed conflict. Businesses use acquisitions, market dominance, and strategic partnerships to outcompete rivals. The ability to resolve conflicts without engaging in destructive battles is a mark of true strategic mastery. Avoiding unnecessary battles is another critical lesson in the art of war. Sun Tzu advises, if your opponent is secure at all points, be prepared for him. If he is in superior strength, evade him. This highlights the importance of patience, timing, and choosing battles wisely. Throughout history, weaker forces have succeeded by avoiding direct confrontation and instead using guerrilla tactics, sabotage, or strategic retreats to wear down a stronger opponent. The American Revolution saw the use of such tactics against the British, and in modern warfare, asymmetric strategies are used by smaller forces to counter technologically superior adversaries. The principle also applies in business and negotiation, where knowing when to engage and when to withdraw can determine success or failure. Flexibility and adaptability form the backbone of Sun Tzu's strategic philosophy. He warns against rigid planning, advocating instead for a responsive approach based on changing circumstances. Leaders must be able to pivot their strategies in the face of new challenges, whether in warfare, business, or life. This idea aligns with the modern concept of agility, which is crucial in industries that experience rapid technological changes. Companies that fail to adapt, such as Blockbuster in the face of digital streaming, often face decline, while those that embrace change, like Netflix, thrive. Sun Tzu's teachings on flexibility remain invaluable in an ever-evolving world. Finally, Sun Tzu emphasizes the crucial role of morale and leadership in warfare. He believes that a strong, disciplined army led by a capable commander can overcome even larger, better-equipped forces. Good leadership inspires loyalty, unity, and resilience, while poor leadership leads to disorder and defeat. Sun Tzu's insights on leadership extend to modern management, where effective leadership fosters teamwork, motivation, and success. His teachings suggest that a wise leader must be decisive, adaptive, and deeply attuned to both the needs of their followers and the realities of the situation at hand. Sun Tzu's philosophy of war remains relevant because it transcends military applications, offering timeless wisdom on strategy, competition, and leadership. Whether in the context of historical battles, modern business, or personal development, his principles provide a roadmap for achieving success through intelligence, adaptability, and strategic foresight. Sun Tzu's The Art of War stands as one of the most influential military treatises in history, but it is not the only approach to warfare and strategy. Comparisons with both Western and Eastern philosophies reveal fundamental differences in how war, power, and strategy are understood. In Western military thought, figures like Karl von Clausewitz and Niccolò Machiavelli offer perspectives that contrast sharply with Sun Tzu's philosophy. Clausewitz, a Prussian general and military theorist, advocated for the concept of total war, where military engagement is seen as a continuation of politics by other means. His ideas suggest that war is inherently chaotic and unpredictable, requiring decisive action and overwhelming force to secure victory. Sun Tzu, in contrast, emphasizes careful planning, deception, and the avoidance of direct conflict whenever possible. While Clausewitz sees war as an inevitable clash of nations, Sun Tzu advocates for the strategic use of diplomacy, subterfuge, and psychological warfare to achieve objectives without open battle. Machiavelli, the Renaissance political thinker, also differs significantly from Sun Tzu in his view of war and power. In The Prince, Machiavelli argues that rulers must be prepared to use force, deception, and ruthlessness to maintain power. He sees war as an essential tool of statecraft, and his approach aligns more with realpolitik, a pragmatic and often cynical view of governance. While both Machiavelli and Sun Tzu recognize deception as a key tool in strategy, Machiavelli places a greater emphasis on power consolidation and manipulation for personal or political gain. Sun Tzu, by contrast, promotes strategic victory with minimal destruction, prioritizing efficiency over dominance. Beyond Western military thought, Sun Tzu's ideas can also be compared with other Eastern philosophies, particularly Taoism and Confucianism. Laozi, the founder of Taoism, promotes harmony with the natural order and emphasizes inaction, Wu Wei, as a means of achieving goals. While Sun Tzu's approach to strategy is highly pragmatic, it shares similarities with Taoism in its emphasis on adaptability and non-resistance. Sun Tzu advises generals to be like water, flexible, formless, and able to flow around obstacles. This mirrors Taoist principles, which encourage yielding and responding fluidly to circumstances rather than engaging in forceful resistance. However, Sun Tzu's philosophy is ultimately more practical and goal-oriented than the spiritual detachment emphasized in Taoism. Confucianism, on the other hand, provides a moral and ethical framework that often conflicts with Sun Tzu's strategic pragmatism. Confucian teachings stress righteousness, benevolence, and social harmony, viewing war as a necessary evil that should only be undertaken with great caution. Confucian scholars historically criticized military ambition and promoted governance through virtue rather than force. Sun Tzu, while not entirely opposed to ethical considerations, prioritizes effectiveness over moral idealism. He acknowledges the destructive nature of war, but views it as an unavoidable reality that must be approached with intelligence and efficiency. The influence of the art of war on Chinese military strategy is undeniable, shaping dynastic warfare for centuries. Throughout Chinese history, generals and rulers have applied Sun Tzu's principles in conflicts ranging from the Warring States period to modern times. The strategies outlined in the art of war were instrumental in the success of figures like Han Exin, a general of the Han dynasty known for his cunning battlefield maneuvers, and Zhuge Liang, the legendary strategist of the Three Kingdoms period who used deception and psychological warfare to outmaneuver his enemies. Key historical battles, such as the Battle of Red Cliffs, exemplify Sun Tzu's teachings, as outnumbered forces use superior strategy and terrain manipulation to defeat larger armies. By examining Sun Tzu's philosophy alongside other military theories, it becomes clear that his approach is distinct in its emphasis on intelligence, deception, and adaptability. While Clausewitz and Machiavelli advocate for force and power, Sun Tzu promotes the art of winning without unnecessary conflict. Compared to Taoism and Confucianism, his philosophy is more pragmatic, focusing on results rather than moral or spiritual ideals. Through its enduring influence on military history and strategic thought, the art of war remains a cornerstone of both Eastern and global military philosophy. Sun Tzu's The Art of War has influenced military strategy across centuries and civilizations, shaping conflict from ancient China to modern warfare. His principles of deception, adaptability, and strategic foresight have been applied by some of history's greatest military leaders, proving their effectiveness in both large-scale battles and unconventional warfare. One of the most famous historical battles that reflects Sun Tzu's strategies is the Battle of Red Cliffs, 208 CE, a pivotal conflict during the Three Kingdoms period of China. At this battle, the allied forces of Sun Quan and Liu Bei, though outnumbered, used deception and superior positioning to defeat the powerful warlord Cao. Utilizing Sun Tzu's principle of exploiting enemy weaknesses, they took advantage of Cao's overextended supply lines and used fire attacks to destroy his fleet, turning the tide of Chinese history. The battle demonstrated the importance of terrain, psychological warfare, and strategic patience, key aspects of the art of war. Beyond China, Sun Tzu's teachings can also be seen in the Mongol conquests under Genghis Khan. The Mongols, despite being numerically inferior to many of their enemies, mastered the art of deception, speed, and psychological warfare. Genghis Khan's forces used feigned retreats to lure enemies into ambushes, employed spies to spread misinformation, and capitalized on the element of surprise, tactics that align closely with Sun Tzu's emphasis on deception and adaptability. The Mongols' ability to outthink rather than outfight their opponents enabled them to build one of the largest empires in history. During the medieval and early modern periods, Sun Tzu's principles continued to resonate in military campaigns. Napoleon Bonaparte, one of history's greatest military strategists, unknowingly applied many of Sun Tzu's teachings. His ability to strike swiftly, use deception, and adapt to battlefield conditions allowed him to dominate Europe for over a decade. Napoleon's use of mobility, indirect attacks, and psychological tactics mirrored Sun Tzu's ideas on winning before the battle even begins. Similarly, in feudal Japan, samurai warfare incorporated elements of Sun Tzu's philosophy, particularly in the emphasis on strategy over brute force. Famous samurai leaders like Takeda Shingen and Tokugawa Ieyasu practiced deception, psychological warfare, and the art of winning with minimal bloodshed, aligning with the art of war's core teachings. The relevance of Sun Tzu's strategies extended into the 20th century, particularly during the World Wars. In World War II, guerrilla warfare and deception played a crucial role in key battles. The D-Day invasion in 1944 saw the Allies execute one of the most elaborate deception operations in military history, Operation Fortitude. By creating fake armies, transmitting misleading radio messages, and using double agents, the Allies misled the Germans about the actual invasion site, securing a critical advantage. This strategy closely follows Sun Tzu's principle. All warfare is based on deception. Similarly, the use of guerrilla warfare by resistance movements in Nazi-occupied Europe and by communist revolutionaries in China and Vietnam demonstrated Sun Tzu's idea that a smaller force can overcome a larger one through superior tactics, adaptability, and psychological warfare. In modern military doctrines, Sun Tzu's teachings remain highly relevant. The principles of asymmetric warfare, cyber warfare, and strategic deterrence all align with his ideas on deception, intelligence gathering, and the avoidance of direct confrontation when outmatched. Nations today apply the art of war in unconventional conflicts, from intelligence operations to economic and cyber warfare. Military leaders and strategists continue to study Sun Tzu's work, recognizing its enduring value in shaping effective military and political strategies. Across history, from ancient China to modern battlefields, Sun Tzu's strategies have proven their timelessness. His emphasis on deception, adaptability, and intelligence over brute force continues to shape military thought, making the art of war an essential text for understanding both historical and contemporary warfare. Sun Tzu's The Art of War is not just a military treatise. Its strategic principles have influenced a wide range of fields, including politics, business, sports, and personal development. His teachings on strategy, adaptability, and deception have proven to be invaluable tools for leaders, entrepreneurs, and individuals striving for success. In politics and diplomacy, Sun Tzu's influence is evident in major geopolitical events, particularly during the Cold War. The rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union was characterized by indirect confrontations, psychological warfare, and strategic maneuvering, principles deeply rooted in the art of war. The doctrine of deterrence, in which both superpowers sought to avoid direct military engagement while outmaneuvering each other through espionage, propaganda, and economic competition, mirrors Sun Tzu's emphasis on winning without fighting. Similarly, U.S.-China relations have long been shaped by strategic diplomacy. Chinese political leaders, from Mao Zedong to Xi Jinping, have incorporated Sun Tzu's ideas into their foreign policy, favoring long-term strategic patience and calculated economic and political moves over direct confrontation. The Belt and Road Initiative, for example, reflects Sun Tzu's concept of extending influence through indirect means rather than through war. Beyond the realm of international relations, Sun Tzu's strategies have become essential in the business world. Corporate leaders and entrepreneurs frequently apply his principles to competitive market strategies. CEOs of major companies like Apple and Amazon have demonstrated Sun Tzu's ideas in action. Apple, under Steve Jobs, mastered the art of strategic timing, deception, and innovation to outmaneuver rivals, much like a military campaign. Amazon, led by Jeff Bezos, used strategic expansion, adaptability, and market disruption to dominate e-commerce and cloud computing. Case studies of these companies reveal that their success can be attributed to long-term planning, anticipating competitors' weaknesses, and leveraging strengths. Key tenets of the art of war. Sun Tzu's influence extends even to sports and competition, where his strategic insights have helped teams and athletes achieve victory. Coaches in football, basketball, and martial arts frequently use Sun Tzu's teachings to develop game strategies, analyze opponents, and adapt to changing circumstances. Legendary basketball coach Phil Jackson, for example, employed Sun Tzu's principle of mental dominance to build team cohesion and outthink opponents. In combat sports like mixed martial arts, MMA, fighters study their opponents' weaknesses, feint attacks, and exploit openings, tactics that align closely with Sun Tzu's approach to battle. Perhaps most surprisingly, the art of war has also found a place in the realm of self-improvement and personal success. Sun Tzu's teachings on preparation, decision-making, and adaptability serve as a guide for individuals navigating challenges in life and career. His advice on knowing oneself and one's environment is often applied in goal setting, negotiation tactics, and personal development. Whether it is managing a career transition, making critical life choices, or overcoming obstacles, Sun Tzu's philosophy provides a strategic mindset that helps individuals achieve their objectives efficiently and effectively. Across politics, business, sports, and personal growth, Sun Tzu's wisdom continues to shape strategies for success. His principles have transcended the battlefield, proving that strategic thinking, adaptability, and intelligence are essential in all aspects of competition and leadership. The enduring relevance of the art of war lies in its universal applicability, making it a timeless guide for anyone seeking to navigate complex challenges and emerge victorious. Sun Tzu's The Art of War has endured for over 2 millennia, remaining one of the most influential and widely read texts in history. Its continued relevance is reflected in its status as a bestseller across different fields, from military strategy to business and self-improvement. The book's enduring appeal lies in its universal principles, which emphasize intelligence, adaptability, and strategic thinking, qualities that remain essential in today's fast-paced world. Governments, corporations, sports teams, and even individuals continue to study its teachings, applying its wisdom to modern challenges. In an era of rapid technological advancements, geopolitical shifts, and economic uncertainties, Sun Tzu's insights on foresight, deception, and calculated decision-making provide timeless guidance for navigating complex situations. The interpretation of the art of war varies across cultures, with Western and Eastern perspectives often highlighting different aspects of Sun Tzu's philosophy. In the East, particularly in China, Japan, and Korea, Sun Tzu's teachings are deeply embedded in historical traditions, military doctrines, and business practices. His ideas align with Confucian and Taoist principles, emphasizing harmony, patience, and indirect strategy. Eastern interpretations often focus on the broader philosophical applications of the text, viewing war as an extension of strategic governance and diplomacy. In contrast, Western interpretations, particularly in military and business circles, tend to focus more on tactical advantage, competition, and direct engagement. While both perspectives recognize the value of deception, intelligence, and strategic foresight, Western readings often frame Sun Tzu's teachings in terms of power dynamics and competitive dominance rather than holistic strategy. Despite its widespread influence, The Art of War has also been subject to controversies and misinterpretations. Throughout history, certain individuals and organizations have distorted Sun Tzu's principles for unethical purposes. For example, corporate leaders have occasionally used his ideas to justify ruthless business tactics, prioritizing deception and manipulation over ethical decision-making. Similarly, in politics and warfare, some have misapplied Sun Tzu's emphasis on deception to justify dishonesty, espionage, or even psychological coercion. While Sun Tzu advocates for intelligence and cunning, his teachings also stress balance, morality, and the importance of achieving victory with minimal destruction. Misusing his ideas without understanding their ethical implications risks undermining the very wisdom that has made The Art of War a timeless classic. Sun Tzu's The Art of War remains one of the most profound and insightful works on strategy ever written. Its core lessons emphasize the importance of preparation, adaptability, and intelligence over brute force, offering guidance that extends far beyond military conflicts. From ancient battlefields to modern corporations, Sun Tzu's principles have been applied across diverse fields, proving their universality and longevity. His belief that the greatest victory is one that avoids conflict altogether underscores the importance of diplomacy, psychological strategy, and outthinking opponents rather than relying on sheer force. The influence of Sun Tzu extends beyond conflict into leadership, business, personal development, and even daily decision-making. His philosophy encourages individuals to be proactive rather than reactive, to analyze situations carefully, and to act with strategic intent. Whether in navigating workplace dynamics, making business decisions, or handling personal challenges. Sun Tzu's teachings provide a framework for thinking strategically, managing resources wisely, and anticipating challenges before they arise. In a world where uncertainty and competition are ever present, the art of war serves as a timeless guide for achieving success through wisdom and foresight. While originally conceived as a military manual, its lessons have transcended time and discipline, offering valuable insights to those who seek to navigate life's challenges with intelligence and strategic acumen. By applying Sun Tzu's teachings ethically and thoughtfully, individuals and leaders can cultivate resilience, clarity, and the ability to turn adversity into opportunity, ensuring that his wisdom continues to shape the future.